Hey there guys, how's it going today? I just got back from vacation in Washington where I got a chance to hang out with some of my good friends. While we were there, we played Heroquest, and some of the figures that we were using were not yet painted. This Warlock and the demon form that goes with it is one of the ones we were using, and there were several comments made about how many of these I still have left to paint. And so I thought I'd come and at least get started on them. Today we're just going to start by priming these guys. I think I'm going to do, because they're so small and the detail on them is so minor, I think I'm going to just stick to speed paints for these ones. This Army Painter speed paint set is pretty good. It does a pretty good job of coating well and then giving you a built-in shadow, which is kind of nice. So I'm gonna get started by priming these with just the Army Painter's Air Primer. This is a matte black. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go over it with a matte white as well. Today I'm using this little mini compressor with my air gun. I actually have not been that big of a fan of this mini compressor. It doesn't seal well up here along this ring, so you don't get very good compression. But living in an apartment, I don't have room for my full compressor and like to bust out my good air brushes or anything like that. So this is my preferred airbrush, but it doesn't work well on this compressor. It works better with my full compressor, which I don't have room for here. So we're going to give this mini compressor another chance to fail on us. I'm going to put down a different mat over this, just because I don't mind if this one gets a little bit of spray on it. So yeah, let's see how well this works. You're going to hear a humming in the background while this thing primes up. And we're going to just get at least a layer of the black on today. I don't know, I felt like I had the energy to paint today, and then all of a sudden I didn't really, but I'd already kind of started getting things set up to do this. So I figured I'd at least do the priming, and we'd go from there and see kind of how things are going. I don't know how much of this I'm going to actually need. So we're going to just start with a little bit in there. And then, yeah, let's just see how this goes. I don't know if I like this Army Painter primer as much as my other black primer. It's kind of a loose... It's kind of a loose spread on that. I don't really like it. Like, I want a much tighter. And that could just be that there's not much pressure coming from this gun. And so it's kind of spraying out in a loose kind of pattern. Giving it kind of more of a speckled look, which is not what I really want. But it is just a primer, so it might not be that big of a deal. We'll just go with it for now and try to get a layer of this on there first. And then once we get that, at least we can kind of go, oh my god, that was really bad. Maybe I need to be closer. Oh yeah, that does work a little better close up. Not a lot better though. Yeah, I don't really know what's to do about that. I might change up the gun after this and see if, even though this compressor isn't really that good with the other guns, the other guns are better overall, so it might balance out a bit, because this is terrible. And it's going to look really bad with the white. Like, I can make this work with the black, because I'm going to go over it again with the white, but even still, this is going to obscure some of the detail, which is not what you really want. So hopefully I can recover this. Maybe I don't even know if I'm on the camera right now. So busy looking at the poor coverage of this that I wasn't looking at my feed. I like the demon because he has kind of a natural handle in the wings there. It's working a little better now. Maybe it just needed to kind of get flowing a little bit. I can already see some areas of this mini that are going to be difficult to paint, just because if they're hard to get with the airbrush, they're definitely going to be difficult to get with the regular brush. So that's going to be interesting. I've been trying to think of a bit of the color scheme that I want for these characters, and I'm not 100% set yet, but I think I got it down pretty good. I got a couple speed paints that I think will work good for this. I think the primary color for the Warlock is going to be this Hive Dweller purple with like a plasmatic bolt green, and then I'm gonna like highlight it like with this snake scales, which isn't one of the speed paints. It's just one of their normal lines, but it's gonna give it that kind of fell energy look that you kind of see in like some of the Warcraft stuff. I'm gonna give her, I think, bright pink hair because I think that'll look cool. She's a gnome, and that seems very gnome-like to me. As for the demon himself, I'm going kind of with like a Illidan Storm Rage kind of color scheme. Going to be like a dark bluish purple with dark blue accents, and then that fell green energy as well to tie the two together. Oh, come on, stay up. Try not to touch where I just sprayed. Yeah, if I knew what I know now, I would not have bought this little compressor. There are other options out there for small space air compressors and things like that. This one was not that expensive, which was really kind of the appeal of it, but it is not worth the price that I paid. So I would not recommend anybody buy this. If you're thinking about getting a cheap little airbrush air compressor combo, this is probably not the best one to get. So I would advise people steer clear of it. And the customer service for it's really bad. When I first noticed I was having problems with it leaking around the seal, I contacted their customer service and they kind of just gave me the runaround. Asked me to send them videos of what was wrong with it, so I did. And then I just never heard back from them after like the 4th video I sent. So I just ate the loss. It is what it is. It's, like I said, it wasn't the most expensive thing I've ever bought for my hobby. And I'm sure it won't be the last one that I get thinking it'll be good, just to have it suck. So, you know, sometimes you just eat the loss. And I mean, it's working. It's just not great. So I guess I can't really complain all that much, because it could be worse. Alright, and just like that, we got our layer of black. I don't see any more red. I think I got it all. I don't always do the bottom of the bases, but sometimes it's kind of nice. Although, as you can see, like, you can see how bad that coverage is from that black. It's just, I don't know, it's not great. You can sometimes just use just plain air to kind of even it out in bursts. If you don't pull back, it doesn't spray the color, and so you can just use that just normal air. It also helps dry it a little faster, so you can kind of just blow the air over it and it'll dry the wet paint a little bit, and that kind of helps to get an idea of what is and isn't covered, see what needs a little more. Let me see how when I pull back it's I think before I switch to the white, which I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pause this and like clean out the cup and all that and get ready to switch to the white, and then I will start up a second part of the live feed afterwards. Oh, come on. So yeah, it's not even blowing right now. So that's, I mean, it's possible that it's clogged. That happens sometimes with even the best airbrushes, but I think this one is clogged at the tip here, which means I gotta come in and try to unscrew this guard here, which is kind of a pain to get off too. And once that comes off, I can see here that it looks like, yeah, there's some gunk on the needle. There we go. That freed that up to spray a little bit better. I can put this guide back on. There we go. And see if that doesn't... Oh, that's a little bit better. Much more even. Still kind of splotchy though, but not as bad. Okay. So probably got a little more primer in that cup than I needed for this project, but that happens sometimes. So we're gonna let these guys dry a bit. I'm gonna give it one quick glance over to see if I see any hidden areas of red before I dump out all the rest of this extra black. And I don't see any on the demon. As for the Warlock herself, it's taking forever to dry. Let's try to try that with the air from the airbrush. There we go. Oh, I was still checking for any red. Looks like there's a bit up under her dress there. Not that that really matters, because you're not really going to be able to see that. She's got such short legs, but you know, my OCD isn't going to let me leave it. If I can even sense that there's any red in there. Well, it's already not glowing again. Oh, this is really not a great... There we go. Oh, maybe it's just the needle that's not great. I don't know. I wonder how... This isn't bad without that guide on it. Maybe I'll leave that off. And it's much more localized, as you can see right here. Like, I mean, it does a much finer point like that. So, I think that's pretty good for her. I don't see any more red up under there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. And then, I'm going to empty out the cup. I think maybe switch to a different brush. I might try this one. It's pretty simple. It might be able to handle this weaker air compressor. So we'll give that one a try, see how it goes. But I'll be back in probably about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how long it takes to clean out this cup. Sometimes they're harder to clean out than others. So we'll find out how that goes, and I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks for watching, and I hope you check out the next one.